Welcome back to Count Me In, IMA's podcast about all things affecting the accounting and finance world. I'm your host, Adam Larson, and today I'm previewing another bonus episode of our series for you. In this episode, we're featuring one of our CMAs Making a Difference. The CMA Making a Difference campaign is part of a worldwide initiative at IMA. The goal is to showcase the many ways that earning IMA's Certified Management Accountant certification can set your career on an incredible new path, giving accounting and finance professionals access to exciting career and leadership opportunities. The campaign also tells stories of CMAs who are truly making an impact with their organizations and in some cases around the world. Today you're going to hear from Neil Baier, Vice President of Finance at Crescent Crown Distributing. He talks with my co-host Mitch about what made him pursue the CMA, how he's been able to apply what he learned on the job, and why the CMA and IMA has delivered lasting value to his career. So now let's head over to the conversation and hear how the CMA is making a difference.
So to kick things off for today's conversation, can you first tell us what it was that really interested you the most and made you decide to pursue the CMA certification?
Sure. Well, I've been a CMA since 1998, which amazingly is a long time ago now. Time flies when you're having fun. But at the time, I had just completed my MBA. And when I was looking at at things that I could do to enhance my career and maybe enhance my skill set, the CMA, I became aware of the CMA. And at the time, they called it the mini MBA. And it was really interesting because when I was studying for it, it aligned so well with all the classes that I was taking in my MBA program that I almost didn't really have to study more than that. It was really interesting how well it aligned. And importantly for me, it really actually aligned well with my interests. So it was very almost like a no-brainer. And I got into the CMA with almost not knowing what benefits it was going to give me later on, which have been tremendous. So I took the CMA exam, passed it, and then the now defunct CFM was still the Certified Financial Management. I took that as well because it was only an extra test, and I really kind of solidified and put the finishing touches on my MBA. And I felt when I was done, I had an MBA, a CMA, CFM. I was really ready to hit the ground running with my career.
So let's talk about that a little bit. As the next step from your studies, you pass all these exams. How were you able to apply your CMA studies on the job and fulfill the responsibilities that you had once you started working?
The thing that I have always appreciated about my CMA certification is that it is so much more applicable to the job that I was doing, am doing, and have done my entire career versus other financial certifications I could have gotten. Certainly the CPA exam is obviously something that we always compare ourselves to, but the CPA was really more, auditing, tax, things like that, public accounting. That just wasn't my career. The CMA is so much focused on day-to-day operations, business law and HR and obviously financial accounting, but also capital budgeting and financial analysis and all the things that a corporate accountant has to have in their toolkit. The CMA exam is and the CMA certification is that's just right in your wheelhouse. And I really have appreciated the fact that the CMA at the time and still does allows me to focus on those skills.
So is there one particular thing that you can really attribute, one major career accomplishment that you think is truly or was truly possible because you had the CMA and there was some kind of knowledge that you were able to apply and allow you to achieve that accomplishment?
Well, I think the biggest accomplishment in my career thus far has been helping drive Crescent Crown towards one of the largest solar installations in the state of Arizona. Crescent Crown, by the way, Crescent Crown Distributing is one of the largest beer and alcohol distributors in the country. We have over 500,000 square feet of warehouse just in Arizona alone. And that warehouse has to be kept, 72 degrees at all times in the Arizona heat. And we also have about 100,000 square feet of cooler where we keep our kegs and our craft beer. That's a nice chilly 38 degrees. And you can imagine that we use a lot of power. And at one time, we were one of the 10 largest power users in the entire state of Arizona, which obviously costs a lot of money, but also, from an environmental standpoint, we certainly had an impact. My CMA certification, like I said, when I call it the mini MBA, it allows you to be a kind of a well-rounded financial professional, not just counting the beans. You're kind of expected to also help grow the beans, and that's why in my career I've always been looking for ways to either save money or increase the top line, or just obviously certainly increase the bottom line. And that focus drove me to really be aggressive in looking for cost savings. And at the time, it was 2009 when the stimulus package came out after the housing bubble burst. There was a very large solar incentive that I became aware of, and after researching it for well over a year, I was able to use my skills as a CMA, as a well-rounded business professional, to come up with a business case, present it to ownership, make that compelling case, have them approve it, and then kind of be the steward and helping, obviously bring the project to fruition. And at the end of the day, we've saved. The project's going to save Fresh Crown almost $20 million, but it's also going to take about, I think the math was something about taking planting 1.5 million trees or taking 10,000 cars off the road. It's really had a significant impact on the community and the environment as well. So proud of the accomplishment, but also it's a good indication of the type of mindset the CMA allows you to have.
Yeah, that certainly is a great example. And thank you for sharing that story. Just from an IMA perspective, I know recently we've put a pretty big emphasis on sustainability, and ESG data is something that we have a lot of resources on. And tying that into your project and tying that all the way back to the traditional finance function, it shows really how well-rounded everything is that's covered from IMA and the CMA, and how individuals like yourself are able to apply it to all different industries, distribution and taking into consideration the solar power. So I think that really is the perfect example. And touching on all these different industries, I know you said you've had the certification for a while, and you certainly have some great professional experience. How would you suggest employers leverage the CMA in their organizations, regardless of the industry, so that they could potentially reap some benefits of their employees like you were able to do?
The great thing about I was going to say the great thing about the IMA, but the great thing about the CMA certification is that it really is a wonderful training opportunity. It's so, forget everything else that the benefit, talk about the benefits that, it's given to my career. As an employer, it really allows you to kind of force some really high level, high quality training on some of your best qualified employees. For example, our controller passed her CMA exam. She's a CMA. We now have an accounting manager, accounting supervisor, who is actually more at the start of her career. She's actually studying for the CMA right now. It allows you to really focus some, identify your high quality people and give them an opportunity to really develop their skills. So the other thing that's about it is, and it's, I guess when you compare it to other training opportunities, if you tell somebody, okay, go get your MBA, basically what you're doing is you're preparing that person to either get a massive promotion or leave the company. That's what's going to happen if you pay for an MBA. An IMA, a CMA, excuse me, what you're doing is you're really enhancing their current job. Now, the funny thing is that the accounting supervisor that we just talked about, we just promoted her because the fact of the matter is she's a high performer, but she also showed great initiative by going and studying for the CMA exam. But the thing that I'm willing to pay for someone's education and for someone's development, and frankly, companies would be well advised to help develop their accounting team and their finance team to invest in the CMA certification. And I know that there's a new certification. It's more on strategy that I think that I'm actually looking at personally. I think that's also a really good opportunity for higher level folks to keep their pencil sharp and their skills tight.
Yes, exactly. That's the CSCA certification, our Certified in Strategy and Competitive Analysis. Definitely the next step for many CMAs, and we're certainly doing a lot with strategy and some of those next level courses to keep the continuing education moving for all these professionals and continue to make a difference in their careers and with their organizations. So a lot of opportunity. I know you've talked about many benefits from the CMA, IMA as an organization. What advice would you like to share with our listeners who maybe they're early in their careers looking to get started? Maybe they're a little bit more high performers, a little more experienced, but still interested in pursuing the CMA. How would you position your thought process ongoing for that certification?
The great thing about the CMA is that, when you're early in your career, the fact of the matter is that you really have to make sure that you have a well-rounded. I keep on using the word toolkit. I mean, it really, that's what it is, though. You got to have, in your accounting tool belt, you have to have a lot of tools. And the CMA, I have always found the CMA, it allows you to focus on the things that are important in your career. Now, to clarify, I would think for an accounting professional, CMA is great for everybody. I mean, if you're going into auditing, I mean, I assume that the CPA might be something that you would get first. But the thing with the CMA that really like I said, I've always liked it. It allows you to be a well-rounded financial professional. I keep on saying it. And if it's not the very first thing you do as an accounting professional, it would be very close to the top of the list that I would do, because what it does is it allows you to think about not just accounting. I mean, obviously you want your accounting to be, if you don't have the debits and credits right, everything else doesn't work in accounting. However, with the CMA and you're looking at things like I said before, like business law or, human resources or IT or, people management or all these things that the CMA brings into the testing, it allows you to think about other things, and it also allows you to not only point yourself in the direction you want to go, it actually makes you aware of things that you didn't know of before. So my advice that I would give listeners, if you're early in your career, obviously make sure your accounting schooling is solid. Get that 4-year degree, or I think actually, some people go and got masters in accounting now, if those 5-year programs. But once you have that base down, the CMA exam is really one of the first things I would do in making sure that your skill set is solid and it's, and I hate to say it, the more letters you can put after your name, it's just very attractive to would-be employers. So it's a good career builder.
So with all that in mind, knowing the different value and the preparation that goes into it, long term now, thinking down the road, for you specifically, how has the CMA and IMA as an organization really delivered lasting value for your career?
Well, there's actually two things. The first thing, obviously, is once you get your CMA certification, it requires you to do a number of hours of continuing professional education. And if you, just like anything else, if you don't use a skill, you lose that skill. And I really appreciate the fact that the CMA forces me to take continuing professional education on a whole wide range of subjects that keeps my skills fresh. I mean, the fact is that I got my MBA, in 1998. I got my CMA at the end of 98. I got my CFM in 99. That's 20 years ago already, which is just crazy to think about. But the fact is, I've taken hundreds and hundreds of hours of CPE credits on the most current accounting classes and accounting theories, and keeping you up to date in current FASB regulations and all the latest and greatest things in business management, HR, finance, and all that. So that has really allowed me to keep my skill set way up to date. And the fact is, the IMA, the classes that they offer specifically, either through their annual conference, which I've gone to almost every year, it allows you to really get some really great content. I've actually taught classes at a couple of those conferences. That really allows you to keep yourself current. But the IMA itself, I'm really happy with the quality of the education offerings that they offer, that they have for you to take. But it also forces me to seek out external CPE opportunities. You'll see seminars, throughout your career that you get invited to by different organizations, and a lot of them offer CPE credit. I'm like, that's a great way to kill two birds with one stone. Take a seminar on a lot, like in health insurance or something, and it allows you to stay up to date and continue your, keep your certification. So, the lasting value of my career has just been it allows me to keep my skills current, which is really important for a financial professional.
This has been Count Me In, IMA's podcast, providing you with the latest perspectives of thought leaders from the accounting and finance profession. If you like what you heard and you'd like to be counted in for more relevant accounting and finance education, visit IMA's website at www.imanet.org.